Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I am Tony Gerdeman, here as always with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Well, Tony, the only bad news I have for you is that this weekend is a home game for Ohio State, so the cut of shame was not on the line during week one's bold predictions contest. But Tony, I do have some good news. Well, not for you, but two pieces of history made last week. Number one, for the first time in contest history, you did not get basically the free space on the bingo card, which I gave you in perfectly good faith, and somehow it didn't manage to happen. And then secondly, before the clock even started to roll at the start of the game, I already had enough points, as it turned out, to win the entire week. So two pieces of history in the making right there. What an incredible way to kick off the season.
The other good news is that next week's game is also a home game. So this week's standings, this week's contest won't necessarily have any bearing other than bragging rights, which, Tom, very annoying when you have them, especially when, as I'm up in the press box. And just so you know, to remind people, your winner was that Ohio State would win the toss, choose heads, which everybody does, and then kick the ball into the end zone for a touchback. And we decided, okay, I didn't have the energy to fight you on a 2-pointer for that one. And so as I'm telling, Kevin and I are sitting together in the press box watching this, and I'm explaining to him, yeah, Tom's got the coin tosses heads. And so obviously we're both rooting against you, as if there's nothing else on this planet to do more important. And so it shows up, heads, and it's like, gosh darn it. And then, of course, now the kick is going into the end zone because Jaden Fielding, who is now on scholarship, by the way, has a scholarship leg and can put it into the end zone. And all of this happens, and Kevin just looks over at me. He's like, you need to start letting a neutral observer approve these bold predictions, because there was nothing bold about that. And really, it was just a 50-50 pick by you. Either it's going to be heads or it's going to be tails. And that was somehow determined to be worth 2 points, when 50-50 deal isn't even worth one in the history of the show. But it is what it is. It's congratulations. You got the win. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Tom, this is Youngstown State week.
Tony, I got to go backtrack a little bit. On what planet does everyone always call heads? Because where I'm from, tails never fails. Like that is, and that's just science. I mean, that's, and this is Ohio State had lost, I believe it was 6 consecutive coin tosses. They also had to defer, and they also, so there were 4 steps to this process. And last week you said, well, yeah, only when they win the toss, which they never do. So, ta-da.
50-50.
And the ball, yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. Well, did you win last week? No, that wasn't 50-50 either. So, are you going to win this week? Well, we'll find out.
50-50. 60-30 at worst. 10% in there is just, it's gone. So, this is Youngstown State week, which makes these bold predictions. I don't know if this is going to be incredibly easy or incredibly difficult in terms of what we're trying to get past each other. I am not trying to be sneaky or vindictive. Tom, of course you are. Since you won last week, I guess it is your honor. Your honor.
All right. Well, and here's what I'm going to tell you before we even start.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to offer you this deal. Anything that I predict that you say, no, that's too easy, you can take it yourself. How about that? I will back up my bold predictions with the fact that you can take it yourself if you think it is such a gimme. All right? How's that working out for you?
How many 1-pointers do you have written down right now?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 things written down, and so the figure 9 of them are 1-pointers. I figure I'll end up tweaking stuff as needed to get to the 2 and the 3. I have one that I think I'm pretty comfortable as my 3. But
tweaking stuff as needed to get to boldness, because if you've got 9 things that are going to be, it's like you've got a jury pool of completely corrupt jurors, and I can only object to like 3, and then boom, you've got 6 corrupt predictions on a jury, and it's incredibly frustrating. Me, however, good faith. I have 5 1-pointers because I know they're all bold, 1 2-pointer, 1 3-pointer, and actually, Tom, a freebie that I'm going to give you the free prediction that will actually score a point, unlike your stupid free prediction last week that nearly cost me the victory.
Just to be clear, if you had gotten that one, you still would have lost, but we would have lost by less. So there's that. And what was the one that I gave you last week that both Ohio State quarterbacks would have 10 yards passing in a game
12.
where 12 yards passing. Oh, I apologize. In a game where Ryan Day stated that he was planning to play both of them for an extended period. Got to tell you, didn't think that one wasn't going to hit for you. So I apologize. You can have that point. I will give it to you in the spirit of good faith. Congratulations. You only lost 3-2 last week. Great job.
Can I have it this week?
No. All right. So let's see. Let's start with this one. 3 Ohio State Buckeyes finish with 70 yards rushing or more.
You know the last time they did that?
They did it. I don't know the last time they had 70. I know there's something in the media guide about the last time they had 3 guys with 100. I don't know the last about 3 guys with 70.
They do that about 3 times a year. They've done 100 happens like every 12 years, basically. I honestly, I'm not even sure there'll be enough guys getting enough carries at this point to be 70. So I feel like I need to object, but then there's probably going to be somebody that's going to have to average 10 yards a carry to get that 70.
I'm also expecting them to throw the ball a decent amount because they want to see these quarterbacks throwing the ball. I think that factors into this. And again, feel free to take it if you feel that it's insufficiently bold and you would like to take it for yourself.
Well, I have a different one. Semi like that one, but it's different. So I will, again, good faith, trying to start the week off, end the week, trying to have a good middle of the week day here, Tom. People don't like it when we argue. At least people downstairs listening to the show don't like it when we argue. But I'll go ahead and say, okay, 3, and it's any 3 players?
Any 3 Buckeyes finish with 70 or more yards rushing.
But I will agree to this, but no Tristan Gebbia.
Twist my arm, but okay, I will agree. Jesse Mirko counts twice, though. If Jesse Mirko has 70 yards, counts twice. Sorry.
I'll let him count 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
My first one, Tom. Do you know how many snaps of defense CJ Hicks has played in his entire Ohio State football career?
I was 0 last year, and I think he might have played a drive at the end of the game, or maybe 2 last week. So I'm going to say like 5.
Yeah, I think he might play more than that this week, but I am saying at least 1 impact play from CJ Hicks, be it tackle for loss, pass breakup, forced fumble, fumble recovery, interception, that sort of thing. At least 1 from him this week, if not 6.
All right, so 6 impact plays from CJ Hicks. Okay.
Between 1 and 6. If he goes over 7, I'm out.
Should call him CJ 6. What's wrong with you? Yeah, that's fine. I'll allow that one. That's if the cot of shame was on the line, I would probably insist on 1.5 here. But I think 1 is he's obviously going to play a lot more. This is the kind of game where he's going to get in there and probably play close to a full half. So I kind of expect this one to hit. But this is one where if you wanted to give this one to me in exchange for one of mine, I would gladly take this one. But yeah, I think I'll allow it.
If it goes to 1.5, I'd probably ask that to be a 2-pointer, but we'll just leave it at 1 for now. And down the road against Wisconsin or something like that, maybe we can revisit it.
All right. So next up, trying to decide. How about speaking of young Buckeyes who have not played a whole heck of a lot yet? Lincoln Keenholz throws a touchdown pass.
Okay. This would be the time, but
yeah, this would be the time. If he's going to play, it would be in this game. I think you want to see what he does and not just have him come in and hand the ball off. And yeah, I mean, they obviously like him quite a lot. I am curious to see whether he comes in first or Tristan Gebbia comes in first. I think you might see one drive of Tristan Gebbia, and then you see Keenholz towards the end of the game, and maybe at that point, everyone thinks it's a little unsporting to throw the ball. But if it's going to happen this year, I think this is the game where it happens.
And since you have taken your finger off of that checker, I will let you know that Ryan Day did say Tristan Gebbia would be the next guy in on the radio show. But as I wrote yesterday or today or whenever, like, you can't keep going into seasons with your redshirt freshman quarterback never having thrown a pass before. So, we've seen, in fact, one of the, I think it was 2007 or 2008, with Antonio Hinton throwing like a 37-yard touchdown pass to Tarian Washington in this game against Youngstown State in the fourth quarter. So if Jim Tressel can do that against his old squad, surely Ryan Day can throw a little 3-yard play action to the fullback in the flats from Lincoln Keenholz to, I don't know who the backup fullback is at this point, Patrick Gerd, perhaps, number 49 in your media guides. Not media guides, but your programs.
The only good Gerd associated with Ohio State football. We were all thinking it. Might as well say it out loud. Yeah, I'm just picturing Ryan Day, throwing for a touchdown at the end, and whatever the point spread is, that going, kicking Ohio State over the point spread, and then Ryan Day having someone else start his car for the next week or two, just to be safe. You never know, Tony. You never know.
That's what interns are for.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right, your next one.
My next one is something that Ohio State has done roughly twice a year for the last 5 years. 10 times over the last 5 years, they've done this. So, Tom, is that acceptable?
So your question is whether I can smell the trap coming, and the answer is yes. So the answer to your question is no. Go on.
Yes, exactly. When it's phrased like that, absolutely not. It is not allowable.
You answered yes by meaning no.
250.
This is one that I have on my list, and I felt we need to bid this up. We're gonna end up bidding this up because I had this in as 235, and I figured he's going to bid 250, and then it's a matter of whether I want to go 260. And I guess my first question here is, do the numbers have to be the same? I know that's kind of the bit, but do the numbers have to be the same, or can this be, someone in baseball just went into the 2080 club? So could it be the 250-300 club? The 250.
Yes, Tom. It
200, the 250-300, or could it be? Does it have to be 260?
I mean, it could be. Are you saying could it be 260-250 or 260-300?
Yeah, like 250-300 or 260-300 or something like that.
I mean, there's no limit. There's only a floor. There's no ceiling. Unless you want to put the ceiling in, then it becomes even.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. This many yards. Yeah, I will say.
Yeah, if we want to, I mean, if we're at 250 now, so if you want to say 260 rushing, 250 passing, then it's up to me to be like 260 rushing, 255 passing. If we're gonna really get into the minutia of this and take the show from 30 minutes to 95 minutes, I will go 251, 250.
All right, so we're just going to keep it the same because number one, that's canon, and number two, I'm already pre-annoyed at how that was going to go. So I'm going to say 255, 255. You must bid in increments of 5. This is like a silent auction, except we're doing it out loud. So you have to bid in increments of 5 yards.
So now do I just go to 270 to see if you'll go to 275? No, I will go. I'm going to go 260, and I'm stopping there. So if you want it, you got to take it to 265.
Sold. 260 to the gentleman in the, I don't know, what is that, navy blue?
Navy blue
sweater. 260, you fool. Now, of course, they'll hit it because you got it and not me. So there's that.
As long as I get my 370-yard guys, that's 260, right?
Mm-hmm. Wait, you don't have 370-yard guys? You're not allowed to joke around. I'm too confused already. All right. So this is my third one, correct? I haven't missed one?
Yeah. Well, no, yes, correct. You haven't missed one yet.
Tony, in the last 6 games for Ohio State, do you know how many interceptions they have total?
1.
Last 6 games, 1 interception. Steel Chambers against Georgia. That is the only one going back all the way to the JT Tuimoloau game at Penn State. That is the last time they had. That is the second most recent interception for Ohio State. Tony, I'm going to say they have at least 2 interceptions on Saturday.
Do you know how many times they've had 2 interceptions in a game over the last couple of years?
I don't know.
Well, I will tell you, Tom. They had 3 and 2 games last year. So they did it twice last year. The year before that, they did it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So they've done it 6 times in the last 2 years. So like, I'm going to need 3 on that, honestly.
They've done 2 interceptions 6 times in the last
2 years.
2 years. So you were just trying to sell something they've done 10 times in the last
5
2
years.
years?
Twice
5
a year.
years. Oh, okay. Twice a year. Okay.
And yours, they've done 3 times a year.
I'll tell you what, Tony. I'm going to change it. Malik Hartford has an interception on Saturday.
Well,
1 interception.
Now, yeah, I mean, we have to allow the singular. Now, can we bid this up?
If you would like to say that Malik Hartford has 1.5 interceptions, I will allow it, but he has to hit exactly 1.5 interceptions.
No, I mean, you're first with that one. So you've selected him in the draft on the bold prediction. So I'll come up with something else for one of mine. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I can't, but that is also canon when you're saying this person has an interception. We can't argue it unless it was, if we did this in 2016 and like game 6, we're like, I think Malik Hooker, no, come on. It's got to be, the line on him having an interception would be 1.5. All right, Tom, here's one for you. Ohio State's yards per carry in this game will be higher than Youngstown State's yards per pass attempt.
This is one that I think I would probably take if I had thought to frame it in this way. I have something kind of a little bit different, but this feels like I'm going to need like Ohio State minus 1.5. I mean, they gave up 4 yards per pass to Indiana, and Youngstown State is not a particularly good passing team. I think Youngstown State threw for like 6.5 yards per pass against Valparaiso. So I don't think I care for this one.
Okay, let me see this. I mean, obviously, you can't compare Indiana's passing game to Youngstown State. I think everybody would agree with that.
Yes, not necessarily in the direction you meant, but yes, they threw for 169 yards on 26 passes last week. So,
okay, how about I can't go 1.5 yards. That would be world record breaking. It has never been done before in the history of football. How about 1.1?
Can I take this with Ohio State minus 1.1? Because I feel like this feels insufficiently bold. So I will do exactly the offer that I gave you. I will take this one from you. That is how insufficiently bold I feel like it is.
You can't take it because, like I said, I've only written 5 down. Okay, so
I'll take 1.25. Ohio State minus 1.25.
No, we can do 1.3. There, boom, I've got it. 1.3.
Dear listener, you can tell that Tony knows that he is not in the right on this one, and that's okay.
I came here with 5 bold predictions of 1-pointers. Tom, you came here with 17 because you knew they were all crap. You're just throwing them all against the wall, and the wet socks stick to the wall, and boom, there's your bold prediction. So what's your stupid prediction now?
Let's see. What's my next stupid prediction?
Let me get the file through the Rolodex there, Tom. What do you got?
Both Ohio State quarterbacks finish with 105 yards passing or more, and 1 passing touchdown each, and 1 rushing touchdown for one of them. 1 or more rushing touchdowns. Those are all at least, so it doesn't have to be exactly 125 or exactly 1 passing touchdown. So 125 yards passing for McCord and Brown, 1 touchdown passing each for McCord and Brown, and 1 rushing touchdown between the 2 of them or more.
Okay. And you said 125?
125 for each one.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty rare. And granted, this is going to be a rare situation. So, now, can that 1 rushing touchdown be Tristan Gebbia or Lincoln Kienholz, or is it just Devin Brown and Kyle McCord? Are we talking about those 2 guys?
Well, I was just going to limit it to McCord and Brown because I respect the listeners and understand what the word bold means. But I mean, if you want to let me have the other ones as a backup, that's okay.
I'm just trying to clarify for the listeners who have grown tired of the way you have tried to manipulate this system and my patience. That is all. That is all, Tom. Speaking of manipulation, my next one. So, Ohio State and Youngstown State have played twice all time, 2007, 2008. Those two games, in each of those two games, Ohio State had 4 players rush for at least 20 yards. So I'm saying in this one, at least 5 guys rush for 25 yards.
At least 5 guys on a team with 5 talented scholarship running backs who they're all obviously going to be intending to get into the game. Can I take this one?
Sure, you can have it.
I'll take that one. I mean,
no, you can't have that one. It has to be higher. It has to be 6 guys or 5 guys with 30 yards.
I will let you have 5 guys with. Well, Tony, what's canon on this show? 5 guys with 34 yards.
No, you can have it. You can have 5 guys with 34, or else I get to keep 5 guys with 25.
See, the problem here is now this is like the end of my fantasy football draft, and I have a bunch of guys I want to draft, and my roster's almost full. So now you've got me in this spot where I've got a bunch of other stuff I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Draft a bunch of tight ends, Tom. You can never have enough tight ends and kickers.
That's true. What year is it, Tony? Obviously. Well, 5 for 30. This is another one where it feels like 5 for 25. I would be fairly surprised if they didn't get the 5 guys. It would be very surprising if they didn't have 5 guys get to 25 yards, the 5 running backs.
I will accept 5 for 30 just to prove to you how hard it's going to be when it doesn't happen. We will come back to this. We will revisit this, and it's not even going to come close to happening, but I will take it because it's just 1 point. I still got a 3-pointer that I have to come up with that I'm sure we'll hit, and I have no concerns there, Tom.
All right. So, boy, I've got so many good ones left. Let's see. How about Marvin Harrison Jr. has 2 touchdowns in the first half?
I mean, I can't really I can get angry about it. I can definitely get angry about it. But, normally if we're going to say 2 touchdowns, you might be like, he's done that a handful of times, 3 or maybe 4 times last year. But then you're like, well, it's a half, so he's probably only done it once or twice. Of course, he's not going to be playing into the second half, but that just means he has to get all of his work done in the first half. And so as I hem and haw and begrudgingly accept. Now, can one of these, is this 2 touchdown catches or just 2 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns. If he has an interception, a pick 6, that counts.
Mm-hmm. See, now, all right.
They always say he's just going back to field punts to track the football, but this is the week, Tony. The long con pays off.
All right, Tom. My next one is something that Ohio State hasn't done since 2019, I believe.
Is it shut out the opponent, Tony?
No. That would be a 1-pointer in this game, I think. But you probably have it as a 3. I know. I'm going to say Ohio State has a punt return of at least 21 yards. They have not had anything over 20 yards since. Remember when Garrett Wilson got hot for like a week and a half in 2019?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember when he did that, but yeah. I mean, I have to let you have this one because of it hasn't happened since 2019, so.
I can tell you when he did it.
Well, 2019, for our purposes, that's the only thing that really matters, so I think we can just move on.
Now, that also, when I say punt return, that also could just mean Jesse Mirko running for 21 yards.
That's not a punt return. That's a thing that makes Greg Schiano angry. That's very different from a punt return.
So your first 2-pointer, Tom, of how many do you have?
Well, I have several options here, and I have to decide which one I want to go with. How about this one? There are 2 quarters in which Ohio State scores more points than Youngstown State has yards.
I like the This might be the first time you've ever had a bold prediction on the show. So, but even I don't even know if it's actually bold. It just sounds bold. I mean, you're using different numbers and several numbers and a bunch of numbers, and you know how that kind of can overwhelm me. But I like it. Two quarters where OSU scores more points than Youngstown State has yards. We're kind of going in the same vein with some of these things. So I'm good with this one.
And this is one where it feels like they probably have to do it in 2 of the first 3 quarters, because when you get to the fourth quarter, Ohio State's probably going to have their foot off the gas a little bit and have backups in, and Youngstown State will move the ball a little bit. So you really kind of have to go 2 for 3. I honestly thought about making this the 3-pointer, but I liked my 3-pointer so much that I really had to make this the 2-pointer. I'm going a little above and beyond this week, but that's okay. I have to give you a chance. So
pause for sigh. My 2-pointer, Tom. Ohio State will have more touchdowns of at least 34 yards in the first half than they will have punts.
So you're predicting them to have 1 touchdown of 34 plus yards in the first half.
Have you seen this offense, Tom?
I have. Have you seen Youngstown State?
Yes, in fact, I have, and I was very impressed.
Yeah, same, extremely same. This doesn't feel like a 2-pointer to me, to be super honest. Okay.
How about this? They will have a touchdown longer than Jesse Mirko's longest punt.
That's really just predicting to have probably a 50-something yard. Well, Jesse Mirko, how many times is Jesse Mirko going to punt in this game? There's a real possibility Jesse Mirko doesn't punt in this game, in which case you would like 2 points for literally they score a touchdown from a yard out.
All right, then how about this time? Let's say 2 more 30-yard touchdowns than punts in the first half.
2 more.
So what if he punts once? I'm up against it there.
2 more 30-yard touchdowns, 34-yard touchdowns, and we can.
So help me, Tom. So help me. It's just going to be 3 33-yard touchdowns and like a 17-yard punt.
Well, it doesn't matter how long the punt is, as long as he punts. Yeah.
All right. So 2 more 34-yard touchdowns than punts in the first half. Okay. All right. I'm good with that, Tom. And please shower us with your 3-pointer.
Tony, what year is it?
2023.
What year is that?
The tight end.
Tony, how many different tight ends are going to score a touchdown for Ohio State on Saturday?
Is it at least 3?
It is at least 3. At least 3 Ohio State tight ends score a touchdown. So I'm talking different tight ends. So it's not.
Yeah.
Cade Stover scored 2 touchdowns and G. Scott got 1. 3 different tight ends score a touchdown on Saturday. 3 points.
I have no idea when the last time this happened. We've seen tight ends catch 3 touchdown passes, like Luke Farrell caught 2 and Jeremy Rucker caught 1 against Clemson. We've seen them catch 2 different tight ends catch touchdown passes. I cannot even imagine the last time, unless it was like Tommy Hoying to Eric Moss and maybe 2 other tight ends, like DJ Jones caught a touchdown and Steve Wisniewski. I have no idea. Those probably guys never even played together, but I'm just thinking of some old time tight ends from my childhood and my college days. But I do wonder, I might have to see if I can go to like ESPN Stats Inc. or whatever to see if they can tell me the last time that Ohio State had 3 touchdowns or 3 tight ends catch touchdowns. The only caveat I will say is that it cannot come from G. Scott lining up at fullback. Now he can be one of your fullback touchdowns if he's lining up at fullback at this time.
I'm not asking for any fullback touchdowns.
Oh, then where did that come? We were talking about fullbacks earlier.
Do you smell toast? I got to tell you, I think 3 people listed as tight ends on the roster at Ohio State scored touchdowns in the same game. Okay. You're throwing it back to the 90s and like, well, maybe it happened back.
I don't
back
protest
then while
too
I was
much.
Pegging my jeans, but I got to tell you, this felt pretty bold. And if you would like this one, by all means, have at it.
Well, I don't have a 3-pointer right now, but I'll go ahead and let you have it. I mean, it may have, I assume it has happened.
I assume it probably has happened at some point, but I, for the life of me, can't think of a time that it did. I mean, you could go back to the times when they had two tight ends and, Nick Vanette and Jeff Hireman or someone like that. But I don't, do you remember a third tight end catching a touchdown pass? I really was kind of racking my brain to think about a time that it happened, and I couldn't come up with one.
All right. So my 3-pointer, because you took Malik Hartford from me, and I'm just gonna let you have that.
I'm sorry. Which was the Malik Hartford 3-pointer you were going to?
I just had a grocery list of things that were going to happen, so I could probably just change it to Sonny Styles. Or maybe I can just take the freebie that you're going to give me, because we know that's not going to happen, and put it here as my 3-pointer.
I will tell you, I had on here as a possibility 20 different players have a rush or reception. If this is an empty the bench kind of game where you have your 5 running backs, and then also Devin Brown is on the stat sheet with a rush, and Kyle McCord is on the stat sheet with a rush, and you've got 13 guys who catch a pass, which, that's a possibility. I mean, it's worth 3 points because it's not probably going to happen. But, if you want to take that one, that would be a legitimate one.
How about this, Tom? A special teams touchdown. It happens once about every other year if you include the punt blocks and the returns. And there's going to be one kickoff return in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Max. Not max, but I think we can agree there's going to be at least one. And it may be a touchback. So this is going to have to come from the punt game. I've already pushed out a bunch of my chips in with these 21-yard punt return. But I feel like I tried to go with the defense last week. Didn't work. I'm going all in. I'm a Parker Fleming guy. And so 3 points, special teams touchdown. Do we know, Tom, do you know how many they have had in the last couple of years? I can go ahead and look here for you.
I'm going to immediately offer to trade my 3-pointer for this 3-pointer, which should tell you how I feel about this 3-pointer.
Why would I give you my 3-pointer?
Why would you take a much bolder 3-pointer? Yes, Tony, that is a good question. Just wanted to get you on record acknowledging that mine was far bolder than yours. That's fine. That's all I was looking for.
That's your fault. Don't punish me because of your fault.
Well, okay.
In a vacuum, without your amazing and miraculous 3-pointer, what is your answer to where would you normally put a special teams touchdown?
I think a special teams touchdown is probably 2. So what was your 2-pointer? Can we toughen up your 2-pointer a little?
We could do it this way. So my 2-pointer is, and it's plenty tough. It was raised on the streets. All right, it'll cut you. My 2-pointer is 2 more 34-yard touchdowns than punts in the first half. If you want to make it 3 through 3/4.
Now I want to trade both my 2-pointer and my 3-pointer to you for yours.
They're not for sale, Tom. They're not for sale.
Well, I got to tell you, 2 quarters with more Ohio State points than Youngstown State yards really feels far, far bolder than that one. I think I'm really being generous by even humoring you on this. Let's say you can make that your 3-pointer if it's 4 through 3.
4 more 34-yard.
And once again, I will offer to trade that for my 3 different tight ends score a touchdown.
The thing is, Tom, as I've said this year after year after year, the fact that you are winning these contests tells you that my predictions are bolder. Mm-hmm. And yet I'm the one that gives in way more often and makes my predictions even bolder. So 4 more 30-yard touchdowns than punts through 3/4. I need those 4 yards.
I am more than happy to swap mine for 34. I'm more than happy to do that.
All right. 4 more 34-yard touchdowns than punts in the first 3 quarters for Ohio State. And then the 2-pointer was a special teams touchdown.
Yes. For Ohio State, just so you don't try and...
Now, if Jaden Fielding throws a touchdown on a field goal attempt, I want that.
If Jaden Fielding specifically throws a touchdown, yes.
Anybody throws a touchdown pass on a field goal attempt, that's mine. Because that comes from Parker Fleming, my guy.
So, all right, since it's only 2 points, I will allow it.
Yeah, since it's completely unlikely to happen, Tom, why not just allow it? Why do you have to be such a pain? That's what all of the feedback that we get about this show. Why is Tom such a pain? And it's like, yeah, am I tired of writing these letters? Why is Tom such a pain? Yes. But am I going to keep doing it? Yes, I'm going to keep doing it. Tom, anything else?
Why are you writing yourself letters? That's kind of weird.
It's reaffirmation.
The to and from address in this envelope are the same. Do you even need a stamp at that point?
I don't, but it's just, I like the feel of the letters. So now, Tom, now we go to the freebies, which are free for some, very costly for others.
Let's see. What can I do to give you something that I feel very confident in? Ohio State scores at least 2 touchdowns on Saturday. Do you have any objection? Would you like to go on the record with this being outrageous? I'm counting the special teams touchdown. They're inevitably going to score here. This doesn't even have to just be the offense.
All right. Okay. Then that was going to be my concern, because I can get this through special teams and defense alone. So we'll go ahead and allow that. Thank you very much, Tom. My free prediction for you: Devin Brown leads Ohio State to a first down.
Does it count if he's on the sideline and just sort of doing it like emotionally, or does he have to be on the field?
No, he's on the sideline pointing towards the first down marker.
Devin Brown signals first down at some point.
He has to be. He's the quarterback for a first down.
Okay, that's a good one. I think those both feel like they're about 103% likely to hit, but we'll see. I felt pretty good about last week's, and then we saw what happened. So
we did see what happened. So Tom, thank you for. I don't have to. I'm not thanking you for anything.
Your benevolence, gracing me with your excellence and boldness. Yes, agreed. Strong agree. Just I'm glad to serve the less fortunate, like Tony.
Thank you, everybody else. Everybody not Tom. Could not thank you all possibly enough. So much more than I would ever thank Tom for being here. I do encourage you all to check us out at BuckeyeHuddle.com. If you want to support the show, you can support us there by becoming a member. You can also find us at youtube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. If you're watching that right now and you haven't hit the thumbs up or the like, please do that for us. We would appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not done that as well. And of course, if you're a Facebook person, you can find us there at facebook.com/BuckeyeHuddle. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the way I give in. Like, I don't want to make this, I don't want to make life tougher on people than it needs to be, other than myself. That's the only person who deserves the brunt of my angst. So there you go. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys later.